Hey guys, it's me Paco, and you're watching Bad Witch Books. Guys, today we are going to be going over my Apirl TBR. It is already April. Don't know how that happened. It says that I say that every month, but like I said, I don't know how that happened. But we will get to my TBR. I am very excited because I'm finally caught up on my reading goal. I have been behind the last 2 months. So going into April, I'm very excited to like actually be caught up and not like having this like, not anxiety because it wasn't that serious, but just like every time I open Goodreads and it says, bitch, you're behind. I felt that. Like, I felt like Goodreads slapped me every time. Storygraph too, because Storygraph is worse. Because like Goodreads will say you're behind one. Storygraph will be like, bitch, you're behind on two. But yeah, let's get to it. So we will start. I'm also, of course, going to be doing the magical readathon from Book Roast. So her channel will be linked down below. But I do the magical readathon every April and August. I am a necromancer. And these are my prompts. Well, not yet, because I'm going to do the first 2 books aren't prompts, and the rest are 3. 3 books start. So the first book I'm going to show is the book club pick for my IRL book club I go to in real life, and that is The Bad Ones by Melissa Albert. Pretty in pink. It says, Goddess, goddess, count to 5 in the morning, who's alive? In the course of a single winter's night, 4 people vanish without a trace across the small town. Nora's estranged best friend Becca is one of the lost. As Nora tries to untangle the truth of Becca's disappearance, she discovers the darkness in her town's past, as well as a single string of coded messages. Becca's left for her to unravel. 3 clues lead Nora to a piece of local lore, a legendary goddess of forgotten origins who play a role in Nora and Becca's own childhood games. As risking crossover horror fantasy threaded with dark magic, The Bad Ones is a poisoned pen love letter to semi-toxic best friendships, the occult power of childhood, play, and artistic creation in the razor-thin line between make-believe and belief. I am excited to get to this because I really enjoyed Melissa Albert's last book, which was these Broken Hearts or something like that. It had a rabbit on the cover. I really enjoyed that, which we also read for this book club. So I am intrigued to read this. I do have been in like a spooky era lately with horror books. Like besides my queen Isabel Cañas, I really enjoyed which is adult horror. I enjoyed Ryan Alcegada's Beholder and Aaron A. Craig's books. I enjoy, so I do love me a spooky thriller, like horror vibes, and this is like a forgotten goddess. Sign me up. Okay, so next book is my witchy pick, so I will cut to that clip. I'm gonna pull the name for the next witchy read. So let's see what we get. We've done 3 already, so this is our 4th pick. And it is, drum roll please. Ooh, One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. Okay, I'm very excited. We'll cut back to you, TBR Paco. So if you saw, the card pulled for my witchy challenge was One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. I'm very excited to read this. So, in modern-day Manhattan, where we lay our scene, 2 rival witch families fight to maintain control of their respective criminal empires. On one side of the conflicts are the Anatova sisters, each one beautiful, cunning, and ruthless, and their mother, the elusive supplier of premium intoxicants known only as Baba Yaga. On the other side of the influential Farov brothers served their father. The crime boss known as Koshi the Deathless was a community of extortion virtues dominate the shadows of magical Manhattan. After 12 years of tenuous coexistence, a change in one family's interests caused a rift in the existing stalemate. When bad blood brings both families to the precipice of disaster, fate intervenes with a chance encounter. And in the aftershock of a resurrected conflict, everyone must choose a side. As each of the siblings struggles to stake their claim, fraying loyalties threaten to rot each side from inside out, if that is, enmity between empires doesn't destroy them first. Very excited to read this. It is a Romeo and Juliet retelling with witches. Olivia Blake, I have been enjoying a lot lately, so I'm very excited to get to this. And I love the art that Olivia Blake has in her books. So I'm very excited to get to this. So now we are on to the magical readathon prompts. And I have my little handy dandy journal here where I wrote down the prompts. So, one of my prompts, I had to take a class in demonology, which was to read a book that was gifted to me. So, if you guys hadn't watched my last haul or my birthday book vlog, Princess gifted me the Gilded Ones, final book, The Eternal Ones, by Namina Forna. It is the end to a trilogy. I am very excited to read this. If you do not know what the series is about, it is about a girls that if every year they are like every time they become of age in this kingdom, they are tested. If their blood is red, they are normal. If they are gold, then they are a gilded one, and they are like monsters and need to be killed. And our main character bleeds gold. Very excited for to finish this trilogy. The first book was amazing, had a great twist. The second book was great, had a great twist. So I'm very excited to finish this series, and I will be seeing Namina Forna at Y'all West. So I'm very excited to read this. I love this. I'm very thankful that Princess got me this book as a gift. Next was Animal Studies. And that was to read a book with yellow on the cover. And I said yellow and gold are the same thing. Fight me. And I am reading A Strange and Stubborn Endurance. One of my goals is to read a lot of my Achillean. I've collected a couple Achillean romance fantasy books. And I'm trying to get through them that I didn't read a lot last year. So, like, I read Taste of Gold and Iron this month in March. So, in this, I will be reading A Strange and Stubborn Endurance. So, Veslis Van Aro never planned to marry at all, let alone a girl from the neighboring Thehenia. When an ugly confrontation reveals his preference for men, Vel fears he's ruined his diplomatic union before it can even begin. But while his family is ready to disown him, the Tithian envoy has a different solution for Vel to marry his former intended's brother instead. Carthel Ardurio always knew he might end up in a political marriage, but his sudden betrothal to a man from Relia, where such relationships are forbidden, comes at a shock. With unknown factions willing to kill to end their new alliance, Vel and Kay have no choice but to trust each other. Survival is one thing, but love, as both will learn, is quite another. Heard great things about this. I believe the sequel just came out, so I'm very excited to get to this. And like I said, I'm wanting to read more Achillean romance fantasy books. So the next pick was for the inscriptions class. And so inscription class, you had to do a color wheel, which we're going to cut to right now. Let's spin. And the color is... Okay, purple. I could do purple. So you saw the color was purple. Now, I did say that it was inscriptions, but it's conjuration. That is the color wheel challenge. Sorry. There are a lot of different names. I got to remember. But... so, the pick for that is Threads That Bind by Kia Hatsupalo, I believe. I probably fucked up her last name. I am sorry. This is the Fairy Loot edition, and this got some big purple vibes on it. We love that for me. So, this is a book about Greek mythology as well. So, in the city of Alanthi, the descendants of the Greek gods live alongside mortals. In the modern, Moira-born descended from the Fates. Io, is a Moira-born descendant of the Fates. She can see threads, shimmering silver lines connecting every person. When a relationship is formed, a new thread appears. When a person's life thread is cut, it is their time to die. Io uses her gift as a private investigator, trying to make ends meet in a world which threatens other born people, like her, with suspicious and prejudice. When Io is witness to a murder, but this is no ordinary murder, Io can see the killer's life thread is severed. They should long be dead. More complication still, there is another witness, Edie, a member of the violent Rossi mob who rules Atlante. And what Io can see immediately, although Edie cannot, is that there is a bright silver fate thread connecting them. This boy is her destiny. Ido and Eilid are thrown together to solve the case, and Io grapples with the dark secrets lurking beneath Elante's service. She must decide whether to embrace her fate and give in to the feelings growing between herself and Edie, or whether to cut the threads and set him free. Very excited to read this. Love me some Greek mythology. Love me the Fates. So I'm very excited to see this. I believe the sequel is either out or coming out very soon. And I am trying to knock out a lot of Fairy Loot books. So this is one that I have been waiting for. Or just wanting an excuse to read. So next is Inscription. So the inscription challenge, I had to put 3 names in a bowl, or like pull 3 names out and then like pull it. So you'll see that clip. I need to pull 3 names for the prompt for inscription, and I wrote 3 of my 24 for 24 picks, and I'm going to pull them. And the I have to pull a name, and the one I'm going to read out of these 3 is okay, the Hurricane War. I chose 3 books that were on my 24 for 24, and the one that won was The Hurricane War by Thea Gonzo. I'm terrible and tired. This is a book I've been very anticipating wanting to read. It is romantasy, and it is enemies to lovers. So like my faves, romantasy is one of my favorite genres, sadly. The heart is a battlefield. Love is a battlefield. Okay. All Thyssen has ever known is the Hurricane Wars. Growing up as an orphan in a nation under siege by the ruthless Ninth Emperor, she found her family among the soldiers who fight for freedom. But Talcia is hiding a deadly secret. Light magic courses through her veins, a blazing power that can cut through the Night Empire's shadows, believed to have been wiped out years ago. Prince Alaric, the Emperor's only son and heir, has been tasked with delivering any threats to the Night Empire's rule with the strength of his armies and his mighty shadow magic. He discovers the greatest threat is Talisi, a girl was burning brightly with the magic that killed his grandfather, turned his father into a monster, and ignited the Hurricane Wars. He tries to kill her, but in the clash of light and dark, their powers merge and create a force that likes of which has never been seen before. The war ends only with them, but as even greater danger is coming, and their combined magic could be the only way to overcome it. Thalcia and Alaric must decide, can they work together to save their world, or will they end up destroying each other? An exquisite fantasy brimming with sizzling enemies to lovers romance set in a richly drawn world, Hurricane War marks the breathtaking debut of extraordinary new writer. Very excited to read this. This is Raylo, so take that with what you will, but I am very excited to get my teeth into this. I have been like frothing at the mouth to get into this. And this was on my 24 for 24. Whew. Okay, next is shapeshifting. So, shapeshifting, I had to read a book, my last 5-star read. A book that was a book by an author that blurred my last 5-star read. So my last 5-star read was, at the time when I was planning out my TBR, was my first 5-star of the year, and that was Deadly Education. Spoiler for next week's video. And Deadly Education only has 1 blurb, and that book's not out yet, so I couldn't read that book. Fight me. So I did the next best thing. I went to my last 5-star read, and I picked a book that was blurred by an author on that, and that was The Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon, and the author of Sari El Arif. I'm terrible tonight. Also very tired. The author of Feybound was on there, and I bought Feybound. I'm excited to read it. It was another romantasy. Loving this vibe that I am. So I am excited to get to Feybound. So Feybound is 2 Oven sisters become imprisoned in the intoxicating world of the Fae, where danger and love is in the waits. Feybound is the first book in an enchanting new trilogy from the Sunshine Times bestselling author of The Final Strife. Urine was born on the battlefield, has lived on the battlefield, and one day she knows she will die on the battlefield. As a warrior in the Elven army... Sorry, I had to stop. Someone was lighting fireworks for no reason at this time, and it's like 1 a.m. So, let me go over the title again. Let me go over the description again. Urine was born on the battlefield and has lived on the battlefield, and one day she knows she will die on the battlefield. As a warrior in the Elven army, Urine has known nothing but violence her whole life. Her sister, Lettel, is trying to make a living as a diviner seeking prophecies for a better future. When a fatal mistake leads Urine's exile from the Elven lands, both sisters are forced into the terrifying wilderness beyond their borders. There they encounter the impossible, the Fae court. The Fae haven't been seen for a millennium, but now Urine and Lettel are thrusted into their seductive world, torn among their loyalty to each other, their elven homeland, and their hearts. I'm very excited to read it. I believe one of the relationships is sapphic, and so I'm just very excited to read it. I have excited to get to this author. I will be reading the first book in her trilogy, her debut, later this year for my book club. Okay, what's next? Okay. Sorry. Come on. Okay. Next is spells and incantations. So for spells and incantations, I need to roll a number wheel, and I then have to pick a title that has the number of letters in it. That is how I took the challenge. So what I did is I counted every book that was in my 24 for 24, besides like Hurricane War, because I'd already picked Hurricane War, and I then used the longest title as a limit, and then I span the wheel. So we'll cut to that. So that number, in the book that corresponded with it, was Silver Nitrate by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I'm very excited to get into this. I am excited to get more into Silvia Moreno Garcia, and let's get into what this book's about. And this is another horror book, so we are in a very horror mood this year. Montesat has always been overlooked. She's a talented sound editor, but she's left out of the boys' club running the film industry in the 90s Mexico City. And she's all but invisible to her best friend Tristan, a charming, if faded soap opera star, though she's been in love with him since childhood. Then Tristan discovers that his new neighbors, the occult horror director Abel Utora and the legendary Amateur claims that he can change their lives, even if his taste of a old Nazi occultist imbuing magic into highly volatile silver nitrate stock sounds like sheer fantasy. The magic film was never finished, which is why Urus swears his career vanished overnight. He is cursed. Now the director wants Montesat and Tristan to help him shoot the missing scenes and lift the curse. But Montesat soon notices a dark presence following her, and Tristan begins seeing the ghost of his ex-girlfriend as they work together to unravel the mystery of the film and the obscure occultist who once roamed their city. Montesat and Tristan must find the sorcerers, and the magic are not only the stuff of novels. I'm very excited to read this. You know me, anything Mexican and spooky, sign me up. I am very excited to read another book of Silver Nitrate by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Because I love Gods of the Jade and Shadow. Certain Dark Things was good, not my favorite, and I have not gotten into Mexican Gothic, but I will eventually. But I am very excited to get into Silver Nitrate. Okay. So the last book on this challenge for the Magical Readathon that I haven't gotten to yet is for Restoration. I forgot what the prompt was for Restoration. Honestly, I am sorry. But I picked Poison Ivy. Oh, I think it was a book that can clear a book slump. That's what it was. It was a book that can clear a slump. And for me, comics work for that. And so for me, that will be Poison Ivy. Here you go. This is the cover. So this is my book club pick. And this book is, I think it's The Vicious Cycle. Yeah. This is by Willow Wilson, maybe, I believe. I am blanking on the name. But I know that this is basically Poison Ivy sitting on her own. And she's about to do some, like, not terrorship, but what is it called? For the environment, eco-terrorism shit, and I'm excited to read it. We love Poison Ivy in this house, and I know this is kind of also like body horror stuff, so check it out. I'm very excited for that. Join me if you have not. If you do not know I have a book club, the link for the Discord will be down below. So the last book is a maybe. I may not read it. We and Jen have not discussed if we are changing it yet, but that is Voyage of the Dam. If you do not know me and Jen from Genderqueer, their channel will be linked down below, are doing the debut-a-thon is what we're calling it. And the last book, we read a book, we have a live, we do sprints, and then a live. And the last book we did was So Let Them Burn by Camilla Cole. Now we are doing The Voyage of the Dam by Frances White. So this is a very queer mystery book. For thousands of years, Corndoria has maintained peace between its provinces. To mark this incredible feat, the Emperor's ship embarks on a 12-day voyage to the sacred Goddess Mountain. Aboard are the heirs of the 12 provinces of Cordelia, each graced with a unique and secret magical ability known as a blessing. Except one, Gaymedes Pacero, class clown, slacker, and all-around disappointment. When a beloved heir is murdered, everyone is surprised. Stuck at sea, surrounded by powerful people, and without a blessing to protect him, Gaymedes' odds of survival are slim. But as bodies pile higher, Gaymedes must become the hero he was born to be. Can he mask the killer before this bloody crusade reaches the shores of Cordelia? Or will the Empire as he knows it fails? I'm very excited to read this. Queer. I know the main character is also plus size. Love that for fantasy. And I am excited. Pacero as a Pisces. I love that last name. And the last book that I don't have is for Princess's Book Club. If you don't know, Princess from the former channel Castle Library. She still does Prince, but like no shit no more. Has a book club, and each month it switches between dark academia and political intrigue. And this month we are doing political intrigue, and it is Fireborn, which is political intrigue about dragons. That's all I really know about it. I don't have it with me, so the cover is right here. Very excited to read it. I've heard nothing but great things about the trilogy that is the series starts, so we are excited to read it. But yeah, that is my long March TBR. I am very tired, so I've got to edit this and upload it. But what will you guys be reading this month? What are you excited to get into? And are you participating in the Magical Readathon? If you are, and I don't know, what's your class? I'm a necromancer. So I will see y'all later.